Have you ever wondered how do you waste your time? This question came to my mind not long ago, and recently I like to spend my time wisely, but that wasn't the case back in the days. Honestly, I need to admit that I wasted a decent amount of time in my 20s, which I still regret, but at least I could learn valuable things in the past which can help me to change my perspective. Right now, I would like to share with you 4 common myths regarding time which affected me significantly, and I am pretty sure that some of them will also influence you at the moment regarding your time management. But before I get into the details, another question came to my mind. Have you subscribed to my channel? If the answer is no, please feel free to do it and show some support because it is truly appreciated. Myth number 1. We undervalue our time. We know perfectly that time is a resource which is truly limited, but somehow we don't think about it that way. I remember how many times I told myself the following sentences. Don't worry, you have time to do it later. You don't need to rush, you can manage your task tomorrow. These kind of sentences are the main sources why we can't properly evaluate our time. And honestly, procrastination plays an important role in the whole process, how we can slowly start to undervalue our time. In fact, it gets even worse when we start to compare time to other resources like money. Based on several researches, 81% of people gladly sacrifice a certain amount of time from their life for a certain amount of money. I need to admit I was also part of this group a few years ago, and I clearly remember I was willing to travel other part of my hometown if something was cheaper in a specific grocery store. At some point I also started to calculate if these kind of actions are truly valuable in my life or not. Numbers showed clearly that I actually saved some extra pounds, but here is a twist regarding this topic. What is the exchange rate between time and money? Maybe I saved $10. But did it worth 20 minutes of my life? This is the point where most of us would accept the fact that it is okay to waste a small amount of time for money. Personally, nowadays I don't believe in these kind of transactions. If you still agree with the exchange what I have mentioned, just try to imagine what else you could have done in 20 minutes. Don't try to approach it financial wise, but rather collect actions which can make you happy. Maybe you could play football with your son, or you could read a book but you haven't done for years. And I know this can be measured in terms of money, and this is the whole point. Honestly, I easily undervalued my own time because I have approached it narrow-mindedly. So what I try to tell you right now, that you can't value your time in comparison with money. If you live like this, you will realize too late that you actually only chase your career, you purchase bigger houses and nicer cars, but in the end, you never lived. So what is the solution? First of all, you can start to change your perspective regarding your own time. Understand the fact that your time is a unique resource which is truly limited and it never comes back. And here is a simple fact. You can always earn more money if you work more, but you never get more time, no matter what you do. So all in all, start to utilize your time based on your inner values. Know your preferences and don't undervalue your time against other resources like money because you think you have plenty of it. Myth number 2. We are obsessed with technology. Technology can save us time, but it can also take away a big part. Personally, I truly enjoy a lot of aspects of technology, like I enjoy buy certain products online because I don't have to wait in the queue and everything is much faster and easier. It is also fascinating for me that nowadays I can pay all my bills online. I truly love this. The advantages can be continued, but we also need to mention the other side of the story, how people can be obsessed with technology. And honestly, this can be the biggest time trap. Let's start with the most obvious part. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all these platforms provide endless opportunity to deal with boredom. But at the same time, these are the platforms which can consume most of our time. Moreover, they have other negative side effects, but I don't want to get into the details right now. If you are interested, then feel free to check out my video on the screen. Secondly, even if you are not spending too much time on the mentioned platforms, still technology can steal a big chunk of our time. From my point of view, I have noticed on myself that anytime when I am writing a new blog post or a script for these kind of videos, I couldn't ignore my phone. Anytime when I received a new email or a notification, it grabbed my attention instantly. Sometimes I didn't open these kind of notifications immediately, but still, they can steal a small part of my time. Just imagine you are doing an important task and your phone is in front of you. Of course, your focus will wander back and forth, and these kind of actions are actually stealing time from the process. Once again, I know that it is hard to quantify how much time is exactly wasted with the explained actions by the end of the day, but I think we can agree that they can play a smart or even a bigger part of our time wasting. So what can we do against this? Certainly, technology will always play an important role in our life, but we can decide which sides of it we want to enjoy. First of all, you can make sure that you don't spend too much time on the mentioned social media platforms, and if you are already doing something, it is a good idea to put your phone away to avoid being distracted. Myth number 3, we think we have more time tomorrow. At this point, I need to admit I was overly optimistic about my future time. As I have mentioned by the first myth, I undervalued my time quite often with actions like procrastination. Now I know that mostly the misbelief behind my actions was the fact that I believed that I will have more time tomorrow. For me, it was easy to convince myself that I don't need to do anything at the present because I will have plenty of time in the future. That's why this trap goes hand in hand with the first one when we undervalue our time. When you actually undervalue your time, you can start to feel that you can procrastinate. And sooner or later, you will develop the explained misbelief. However, if you can change your perspective regarding your own time, you will realize that you won't have more time tomorrow. And this kind of thinking can finally help you to achieve your goals. You never know what will happen tomorrow. So believing that you will have more time, it is just an assumption from your side, nothing more. So what you can do right now is getting out most of your present time in this given moment. Myth number 4, busyness as a status symbol. Most of us is working more than ever, and we became obsessed with our work, money, and our status. Busyness became a status symbol, and anytime when you feel that you have nothing to do, you can feel that you are not a valuable member of your workplace. Based on a fresh survey, 95% of young adults said that having a meaningful career and work is extremely important for them. And in fact, this is exactly what we see when we look around. Workaholic people who are willing to take every risk just to step higher on the corporate's career ladder. It doesn't matter if they have no friends or their relationships are in ruins. Whatever it takes, it can be their slogan. Because of this misbelief, busyness became a status symbol. It carries a social status like a badge of honor, and we are always amazed by a person who brags how many hours they work per week. But we don't want to see behind the scenes and understand how this kind of obsession ruins their health, relationships, and other aspects of their life. So what we do instead, we start to copy these kind of fake idols. We urge ourselves to become busier and busier, and even if we don't do any significant task, still we don't admit it. We tend to collect as many time waster activities and tasks as we can around us. So in the end, we can tell our colleagues how much we have worked today. The problem is when this kind of illusion becomes the part of us, and in the end we can't decide what is important and what is not from our time. So what can you do against this? First of all, never ignore your inner values, even if your colleagues are telling you the opposite. It's totally okay to admit that you don't do extremely important tasks all day, and that you don't want to work 12 hours a day. So instead of looking for time waster activities, which can fill the gaps through the day to feel yourself busy, it is more reasonable to give a quick call to your partner or to your kids and say them how much you love them. So this is it for today, and I hope you enjoyed my video about the 4 common myths regarding time and how you can waste your time. If you haven't done it yet, please don't forget to subscribe, and also feel free to check out my previous videos about self-development or personal finance.